Hey, Logan, are you a super spreader?
Hello, Audioholics. This is Logan, and welcome back to Audioholics Unite. Today, we are going to be looking at the new Cory Taylor album. Cory Taylor, obviously most famous from bands like Slipknot and Stone Sour. The new album is called CMFT, which stands for Cory Motherfucking Taylor. And here is Cory Motherfucking Tyler.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Pigs.
Tyler. Yes.
We're being invaded by a bunch of super pigs.
Exactly. Genetically modified mutant super pigs. That is peak 2020, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh shit, my phone.
Right. So this album, we actually did like a partial take of this, but internet fucked up.
It was his fault. It was his fault. It was his fault. He sucks.
So without further ado, I guess we should just get into the album. I don't really have anything more to say.
Let's get into the album.
All right. So as always, the link to this album will be available in the description. I mean, you could use YouTube, Spotify, whatever the hell you want. I mean, we're providing the YouTube one, though. Right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, and go with HWY 666.
Fuck you. That's highway.
No, it's why. It's pronounced why.
My name is Tayler.
I've realized like the ultimate way to tell if somebody is like old and probably racist is if they say WH like hua. Like I remember there was like this one like white supremacist leader or something, and he was talking about the white man has been burdened, and it's just like, really?
White.
Is anybody surprised that a fucking white supremacist talks like that?
The white supremacist.
The white supremacist.
You know what's funny about the super spreader comments? Like, that sounds like some shit Billy Mays would be selling on a commercial.
Hi, Billy Mays here with the super spreader.
Super spreader. Only $19.99.
Made of pure coffee and cocaine. Fuck,
call now and you can get not one, not two, but 3 super spreaders. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. There's also the Covfefe.
It comes with Covfefe buttons.
Yes. Yeah, so this album, what are your thoughts on it from what you've heard, like from the singles and from what you heard in the last take?
I'm not a fan. I don't really like it.
I think it is painfully average, but I would give it something maybe more in the positive, because there are aspects of it that work. I just don't think I would ever listen to this again.
No, we're listening to it again now.
Yeah, well, I mean, after this. But this song is probably one of my favorites, Highway 666. Even though, can we just agree all as a metal community that 666 is way overdone at this point?
Yes.
Like, it was cool when Iron Maiden did it, but now in the year 2020, you know, like, no, 420, 69. Oh, like, fuck you. I'm sick of that shit. We're done.
What? 420, 69?
420, 69, 66, or 666, 33, all that shit.
No, but the first 2 numbers are too nice.
Yeah, so this song is pretty good.
Nice.
This song is pretty good.
This album is nice.
I hate you, Tyler.
I give this album 3 super spreaders out of 5. Okay, I'm done.
Right. No, and by the way, guys, for those who don't know, and actually this will probably be uploaded today. For For those who don't get the reference, Donald Trump was just admitted from the Walter Reed, a little bit of like political like current event shit. And like as he was walking out, there was this dude. I don't know if it was a journalist or like just like some random civilian, but he was just like saying like, "Do you think you're a super spreader, Mr. President?" And like I just lost my shit.
What did Pac-Man say when that happened?
He just laughed uncontrollably. Yeah, but I like Highway 666. You didn't really care for it, did you, Tyler?
No, not really. I still don't really like it.
I kind of like it. It's like this like really like bluesy thing. It reminded me of like the Ballad of Horace Brown by Bob Dylan. Horace Brown, he lives on the outside of town. Right.
This song sounds the most like Stone Sour.
Yeah, this is called Dark Eyes Blue. And yeah, I agree. Or Black Eyes Blues. Yeah, this was one of the singles. I think the first single actually. And I don't hate it. I mean, it's memorable. I don't know if I would necessarily go out of my way to listen to it.
I sure as hell wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this album is just painfully mediocre with a hint of like some ideas that almost worked. Like from what I have listened to of it, I would give it like a 6 out of 10. So just slightly above average.
I think like what it comes down to is, all right, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, so just stick with me. So for me, there's really two different types of music, okay? There's like the dark, evil,
run for mayor somewhere else.
Negative music, you know, and then there is like happy, warm, like lovely music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There isn't really a middle ground. It's either something that sounds more in the negative realm or more in the positive realm. I think personally, I tend to focus on stuff more over here in the negative realm.
I would say like bands like, I mean, every band I think has their, or like every genre kind of has like their middle ground. I think like Iron Maiden is kind of like that.
I would classify Iron Maiden as like a little positive because they're like epic sounding.
Yeah,
and
but
epic
like they can make
in general is something that I do actually.
Yeah, but they also make like angry music, like fucking like.
Well,
like
no, I'm not saying
strangers.
I'm not saying like bands are classified that way. I mean, just music is. So there are songs that are negative and songs that are positive. There's really no middle ground in that classification.
I guess you're right.
And like this is an album that's almost entirely in that positive realm, but in like the most insufferable way. You know how there can be like cringy negative music, like you know, like not bro rock, but like like Simple Plan, like cringy emo shit, but also like bro rock, like, oh, I'm such a fucking badass, I'll fuck up your day, like that kind of music.
By the way, speaking of which, a lot of people consider this to be frat rock, and I don't know what they're smoking. It's in no way frat boy rock. We are on... Like what is this? Samantha's Gone. This one I kind of liked. Again, like I would say there's nothing that I've heard on this album so far that stands out.
Yeah, no.
But nothing I would necessarily say is like overly offensive either.
Just to finish what I was saying, like I think this album, well, let me back up a little bit. Albums like what's the worst hair metal album you can think of? Poison? Like, look at what the cat
I don't know,
did,
like
something like
I don't
that.
know, probably like Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich, Warrant,
Stuff
something
like
like
that. She's my cherry pie. Like, shit like that, I would consider cringy positive music.
Yeah.
You know, like cringy love songs, cringy party rock. Buck Cherry is in that category. Nickelback. This kind of goes hand in hand with that to me. Like, it's not like frat rock in that every song is about fucking chicks and drinking and whatever else, but it's got that cringy sound to it, you know?
I
It's
think
too
it's more
happy and
like,
warm.
I mean, I think like, I think the problem is a lot of people criticizing this album. Not to say that it's not a good idea to criticize it, but I think a lot of people criticizing it are just going in with too much of a bias towards the heavier side of Cory Taylor's career. Things like Slipknot and even some Stone Sour. I think this is a beast all its own, and I think it's comparable to something like maybe Van Halen. And if you like that kind of music, then you might have a better time processing this album. But if not, then I mean, it just you know, it's not your thing. Go listen to, you know, the Slipknot albums are still there. Go listen to them. I'm sure Slipknot's going to continue to put out music. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
mean,
This is what I think. I think that bands need to put out like a positive album every so often. Because like you look at a band like Rage Against the Machine or System of a Down or Dead Kennedys or something like that. They're like most of their albums, if not all of their albums, are amazing and really angry and loud and political and protesty. And that's why they cut their careers so short. Dead Kennedys imploded like 4 albums in. Rage imploded like, I don't know, like 4 or 5, something like that. System of Down imploded 4 albums in. And by the way, we are on
Minor Lukes.
Minor Loose.
Minor Lukes.
Yeah, this song kind of sucks. But what was I saying? Yeah, like 4 albums in, System of a Down. It's because I think they focus so much in one direction. You can't have a strictly you shouldn't have a strictly positive or strictly negative band. And I think Cory Taylor kind of realizes that. I think he realizes that if you go too much in one direction, what you have is you have egos colliding, and ultimately you just have burnout. And that's how a lot of these bands broke up because of A, burnout, and B, ego clashing. That's how Cory Taylor, I think that's why Cory Taylor went in this direction. And whether you like it or not, I think it's important if you want to keep hearing good quality Slipknot and Stone Sour music.
I think, like, yeah, I think you need a buffer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like a positive, upbeat type of thing. It could be an outlet like, oh, let's do a story album or something like that instead of heavy, dark political shit, you know? Doesn't necessarily have to
I guess
be
you're
like,
right.
oh, la, la, tiptoe on the tulips music, you know? Some people, that's just not their thing.
I wouldn't even necessarily say, like this is like, it's not like, it's positive as compared to other Slipknot and Stone Sour albums, but I mean, this isn't fucking Walking on Sunshine. This isn't Taylor Swift.
No, but it is kind of just as cringy in my mind. It's like all of these songs are just party rock songs, and that's kind of what I don't like about it.
I probably just have a higher tolerance because I was weaned on shit exactly like this. shit like Van Halen, Rat,
Hair metal in general. This is very
hair metal in
influenced
general.
by hair
Exactly.
metal.
And I kind of like that because, like, I think a lot of the hair metal albums don't really capture that same vibe of hair metal. And then, like, hair metal definitely had a bad side. Let's not, like, over glorify the genre. There's a lot of bad hair metal. I mean, we were just talking about, like, Poison, Warrant, things like that. That being said, there was also a very good side to it. Let's not over negatify this genre. Let's not over vilify this genre. It had Van Halen, it had Rat, it had Judas Priest, it had Iron Maiden, it had Dokken, it had even some Motley Crue. And this fits squarely in like the Van Halen, Motley Crue era of metal.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, we're now on a new song.
What's it called?
Culture Head, I think. Halfway down.
Oh yeah, I kind of like this one. But yeah, like it has like some really good choruses, some really good pop sounding music. I think Cory Taylor just wanted to experiment with selling out, and I don't blame him. I mean, not that he really needed to. I mean, the Slipknot album that came out last year fucking charted in the pop charts, for God's sake. But
yeah, but I just wish he would have gone more in the direction of something like an Ozzy album. Like an old school Ozzy album, not like an Ordinary Man Ozzy album.
I mean, like, I think that this is kind of, I don't think that style would work for Cory Taylor. I think this style that's sort of like more Van Halen-ish is maybe a bit better, or something. Because I honestly, the more I listen to it, the more positive I kind of have to say about it. I think that it's not a great album, but it's a good album to turn your mind off to. And you know what? I think I might actually go back and revisit some of these songs. Like Halfway Down, Highway 666, Samantha's Gone. Those are probably the highlights of this album. And I would go back and I probably would revisit them. So that being said, I would give it maybe like a 7.5, tentatively speaking.
I mean, we're not even halfway through the album.
You know, I think that it does what it does pretty well. I can't really, again, like it's just like one of those things where it's not spectacular, but it's not offensive either. I can understand why people would like this, and I can understand why people would not like this. I could not understand anybody who would love or hate this. I don't think this album warrants that extreme of an emotion.
Nah, I agree. I don't really think it does either. I'm firmly in the don't like this category, though.
Yeah.
Even songs like this, the riff is so bare bones, the mix is just generic. That's the best word to describe this album. Generic. It's generic pop rock.
What song is this?
Silverfish.
Silverfish. I'm actually going to wash my glasses, but I'll keep talking.
Yeah, so I think part of the problem with this album is that it really doesn't have a unique sound. There's nothing standout or interesting about it. Stone Sour, I mean, you could say the same thing to some extent about Stone Sour.
Yeah.
Stone Sour should have been Cory Taylor's outlet for like getting out of this like really negative music. I think going in this like extreme pop direction was a mistake.
I think the problem with Stone Sour is that it has become just so schizophrenic. especially the last album. He doesn't know whether it wants to be like super heavy or which way it wants to go. Like he had songs like Bother, and then he had songs like what was the other? There was another song. He played it live when we saw him.
Fabulous?
Probably.
I love that song. It's a good song. I'll admit, Stone Sour over the years, I used to really love them. Over the years, I've realized they are pretty generic, and
I like this.
I feel like this is even more generic than Stone Sour is.
I like this guitar. Like I always, this is by far not the only band that has used this effect, but I always loved this effect. I loved it when Jimmy Page did it in 1974 with No Quarter. I loved it when, like, I don't know, that's immediately what comes to mind is No Quarter, but like, I know other bands have done it. I don't know. It like, I say it's like hair metal, and it is, but it also has like kind of elements of blues, like blues rock.
Yeah, it does.
And I think that's kind of the other thing I like about it is it like just reminds me so much of classic rock. This is the most classic rock album that has come out of this classic rock revival of the past 5 or so years.
I don't think I would go that far. Like Greta Van Fleet does that better.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Greta Van Fleet. But I mean, like besides
They're not
Greta
even
Van
like
Fleet,
the best example.
well, I mean, like I think these two albums, these two bands, are the best because, I sound the most like the source material. I'm not saying they're the best in terms of classic rock. I'm saying like, you have bands like Ghost, and you have Haunt, and you have like Mastodon, and you have like a bunch of these other, even like pop stars, like Lady Gaga's single that she released earlier this year sounded a lot like something from the 80s.
Yeah, but like what about bands like Rival Sons and Royal Blood? Those bands do like classic rock sound way better than this album, I think.
I haven't really listened to enough of them. But I mean, like, it sounds closer to the so like, okay, like Ghost, Haunt, Mastodon. I have nothing against those bands. They have their own sound,
but none of those bands sound like classic rock.
I mean, they're definitely very influenced by it.
I think Ghost sounds like modern metal. It's just that
Kansas. We are on Kansas now.
It's just that they're very influenced by like Blue Oyster Cult and Black Sabbath and those kinds of bands, but they still sound like a modern band. Rival Sons and like Royal Blood, they could have come out of the 70s easily.
Yeah. No, you know what? I do think I listened to Rival Sons, and for whatever reason, I don't think I could get into them. But Royal Blood, I don't think I've ever listened to. I'll have to give them a shot after this podcast. But
yeah, Rival Sons had that. What would have been the song you would have heard by them?
I don't know what song I heard by them. It was probably their biggest one. Somebody, I don't know if it was you, but somebody recommended Rival Sons to me. There's a lot of people like swear up and down.
This
by,
song
like,
just sounds like Black Eyes Blue.
Yeah, this one like really super sucks.
I'm actually getting bored by this album.
I'm bored with this song. I think the other songs have been relatively good. How much more do we have in the album?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 songs left.
Okay, yeah. New issue, new thing to bitch about. This is way too long for what this album is. It's like, what, 50 some minutes? Like, you're doing a classic rock album, that should be like 30 minutes tops. And there are definitely songs that you could cut. For example, this. Like, specifically this.
By the way, I'm drinking this like blueberry stout. I don't know if I've showed it on the podcast before. It's very good.
So it's like, what is that, like blueberry?
It tastes like blueberry maple pancakes.
And it's like what, beer or?
Yeah, it's a stout.
Okay, that sounds interesting. I would try that.
It
Bring
definitely
that.
tastes like beer, but like it has like the blueberry maple flavor to it. That's very good.
You're gonna have to bring some shit over, like whenever I come down to see you.
I've kind of become a bit of a beer snob.
Become? You were a beer snob before you were 21, Tyler.
But more so now. Like I'm super into like milk stouts and like
Oh
IPAs,
yeah,
like that.
IPAs. All about the
I like
IPAs.
actually follow channels that like review beer and things like that now.
Yeah, I love, you know, I love only the best IPAs. I think, if somebody gave me an IPA, I would probably like throw it in their face because it's probably the worst IPA. I only do the best IPAs.
Do you even know what an IPA is?
Um, you know what? I was gonna say no, but I think it's in that like the level of like alcohol content.
Yeah, it has a higher alcohol content than most
Yeah.
beers. It's like a form of light colored beer.
I thought it was like a
I think
metric of like
I think
how
IPA
much
stands for
alcohol.
like India Pale Ale or something like that.
Okay. Oh no, I'm thinking of like
Proof.
proof. That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know. I mean, like he's worked in the customer service industry. He's worked as a mixologist, so he knows a lot more about this shit than I do. We are on Culture Head now.
This is probably my favorite song on the album. It was the final single and it's the only song that I actually really liked.
I really like the guitar, just like
That
all
was a
throughout this
bass.
album.
This is like
Wow. That's
really badass.
all throughout this album. I've really liked the guitar.
I don't, but this song really does have amazing.
And it has a really nice
guitar
mix.
riffs.
And it has a really nice mix too. Really nice production. It's mixed like a pop record. So like Cory Taylor's voice is the most prominent thing in the mix. It's not mixed like a metal album. That was my problem. We'll get into this whenever eventually we're going to be filming a video about High on Fire for our Rolling Drone series. And that was basically one of my biggest criticisms is like it's a pop album, or at least it's like a pop metal album, like kind of in the same vein as like Motorhead or something like that. And yet it's mixed like it's Gojira. And
This album?
no, High on Fire. I was just talking about that, like tangentially. By the way, for those who don't know, Rolling Drones is another series we have that I highly recommend. We basically go down the Rolling Stones top 100 metal albums of all time. We mix them and re-rank them in our own list.
I got to do something real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. We basically mix them and re-rank them into our own list so that we can, just do it better. And High on Fire is later on down in the list. We have about probably like 11 or 12 episodes actually uploaded by this point. I really like this riff. See, this is why I have Tyler. I can't carry the show on my own. Yeah, I still maintain this is probably the best song on the record. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about this, unfortunately. It's just not a very memorable album. It doesn't really do anything that's worth really mentioning, which is definitely a point against it, but I would listen to it again, maybe not. I don't know. I'm fluctuating on, because that's gonna like ultimately decide my rating. Is I'm trying to fluctuate on whether I would listen to this again or not. And I think as this album goes on, I think I'm going back to no, I wouldn't. And as a result of that, I think I would go down to maybe a 7, 6.5, or a 6. So we are on Everybody Dies on My Birthday. I love the name of that. Everybody Dies on My Birthday is the best named song on the album so far. This song sucks, though. Tyler, you're on mute.
Oh, fuck. I'm back. Can you hear me again?
Yeah, what were you saying?
It doesn't matter. It's fine. Sorry about that. I had to take care of something real quick.
You had to take care of your thing that you
Beyonce.
sleep with? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just bored by this.
Sucks.
I want to turn this album off. I wanted to turn this album off 5 songs ago.
I think this album is like, this song is like the first thing that I would say is really offensive about this album. This is like,
it's inoffensive to me. It's just boring.
No, this is offensive. This is like bad, like Blink-182 fan fiction now.
And Mine Looks wasn't.
I wouldn't say that's like Blink-182. That's still pretty hair metal.
It was punky as hell.
Kind of, but like this is more so.
I don't know. This album just, I mean, again, it's just generic. Nothing is interesting about it. It's just boring. Honestly,
there's 3 more fucking
Taylor's
songs.
Performance isn't even all that great.
I don't know. Like, the performances are fine. It's just the actual songs aren't that good or memorable in any like notable way.
I'm not going to remember anything from this album tomorrow.
I agree.
Not the riffs, not the melodies, nothing.
Yeah, but like they're still technically really good, I think.
I don't know. I mean, it's not bad technically, but I don't know if the absence of terribleness is good, you know?
I think the absence of terribleness, I don't know, like, I can't, like, I think if this was Shags or something like that, like, yeah, it would be more interesting, but, like, it also wouldn't be, you know, like, I can at least listen to this. I don't immediately just want to shut it off and rage.
I mean, it's not that I want to rage. It's just boring me to tears. I mean, like, this is getting to the same level as, like, Headless Cross for me.
What? I still don't understand. Okay, so we are on the Maria Fire? Really? Okay. The
Wow,
Maria
this
Fire.
What? Listen to it though.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This is like nothing we've heard on the entire album.
This seems like music to where like you would walk to and end all of your sentences with "See." Yeah, stepping on our turfs, yeah.
I kind of like it.
Me too. Of course, they're gonna put all the fucking
I'm
good
more
songs at the
shocked
end.
than anything.
Of course, they're gonna put all the good songs. I mean, like after this is the thing that featured Sec 9, which was really good.
What the shit? Oh, now it sucks.
As soon as he said asses.
The problem with these choruses are all of them are like shut up, guy. Can you do anything more interesting than what are you, fucking Chad Kroger?
Again, I grew up on shit like this, so I'm desensitized to it. It's not an issue for me.
And so did I, but that doesn't make it good. It's still bad.
Dude, shave your mustache. It's ugly.
I know. I've been meaning to shave up all of this for a while now, but just never have good time to.
You look like you have feces on your face.
It's pubic hair. Thank you very much.
Oh. So that's why you don't have any down there.
No, honestly, like the mustache looks better when there's less of this. Like a while ago, I shaved it a lot thinner to where it was like a stubble look and actually looked pretty good. But now I just look like a hobo.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is God, this is just annoying the hell out of me now.
Like, this is why I don't really get offended by Nickelback, is because, like, if you really think about it, a lot of these traits were kind of in hair metal. And hair metal, as much as we like to shit on it, it is instrumental to what I am. It is the music I grew up with. I grew up on especially shit like Scorpions and Ozzy and Van Halen. Bands like that are like essential to my DNA. Exactly.
We have totally
exactly. So like,
I grew up on a lot of heavier music and lighter music. Like I grew up on a lot of pop punk and stuff like that too, but a lot of what I listened to was like thrash metal, you know, stuff like that.
And I listened to Metallica and stuff too, but like, you know.
But I didn't listen to Van Halen. I didn't listen to hair metal. I didn't listen to. I guess I listened to Guns N' Roses a bit and Ozzy a bit, but other than that, I was a really big fan of the. What's the album with Mama I'm Coming Home on it?
No More Tears.
That album. I used to listen to that album all the time as a kid. I got it from the library and I just stole it.
Yeah.
I just never brought it back. I just kept it. Same thing with 10 by Pearl Jam.
I was totally wrong. The next song is Home
by Cory Taylor.
Of course, they...
Oh God,
like
don't.
Kind
of...
No. Yeah. Yep, they're doing it.
Oh, no.
They're doing it. Yeah, I'm starting to get infuriated by this album, too, now. Yep. So this has been Audioholics Unite. We hope you enjoyed.
Okay, bye. No.
You know what?
He's really doing this right now.
Yeah, he's really doing the fucking hair ballad.
Oh, is this Daughtry? This is Daughtry.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's.
Was he serious with this? This seems like something that like this reminds me of like one of those old YouTube videos that like got really viral because it was like some like ugly dude singing terribly. You're so naive. You're so. Are we? Okay, I'm gonna be totally serious. Actually, this album. Okay, Tyler, I'm totally serious. As a result of this song,
I can't stop laughing at this song.
As a result of this song, the entire album has gone down 3 points. It is now a 3 out of 10. Like,
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. Was he really serious with this shit?
Like,
he brought this to the studio and was like, "Yeah, this is good."
And nobody was like, it works on so many levels. It's so heartfelt.
I'm gonna cry.
Has Bitchfork reviewed this yet? We're getting to it a little bit late. So. Has Bitchfork actually covered this yet?
I'm gonna look it up right now. Let's hope. Let's hope they gave it like an 8 out of 10 or something.
This song is so moving, and if you don't agree, you just don't understand its genius.
They didn't. Pitchfork has been letting us down so much.
I know. I've wanted to do Bitchfork for so long, but they just haven't been giving us material, and we've been covering a lot of newer albums.
Oh my God, is it really not over yet? What the fuck is this song?
Yeah. It doesn't build to anything. It's not even a hair ballad at this point. This is Billy Joel. This is on that level now. But worse. Like, by every metric imaginable. Like, I don't know anything about piano. I could not even begin to tell you how to do a fucking chord. I could do this.
Did you hear that? Oh God, Cory. Oh my.
Cory. All right. We are now on something
CMFT
good. Yes. This is actually pretty cool.
I'm reading some reviews now, and nobody has talked about how bad that song is.
Because it's amazing.
Actually, people are giving it like 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. That's more fair, I guess.
Okay, no,
not
maybe
a motherfucking thing.
Okay, now that the pain of that song has gone, I'll be a little bit more serious. I'll be a little bit like more. I'll be a little bit more like fair. I think this is maybe a 4. This is a 4. No, a 5 out of 10. Just straight down the middle. 5 out of 10.
I'm still reading reviews. Sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, okay. Oh, I was just saying, like, now that the shock of that song is gone, I'm probably going to up this to a 5 out of 5. Just put it straight down the middle.
You mean a 5 out of 10? Gotcha.
Yeah, straight down the middle. This has, like, gone
So
all
Cory
over.
Taylor himself is credited with guitar.
Well,
Did you hear me?
He's a good guitarist.
Cory Taylor himself played guitar on this album.
Yeah, he's a good guitarist.
Apparently. I ain't afraid of death. I kind of like this song, but only in like an ironic way.
Yeah. I mean, it's Tech 9. It's like still kind of good.
Did he really just rhyme Cory Taylor with behavior? Fuck you. Fuck you. Kid Bookie, fuck you. Okay, that ending was fire.
Yeah.
I hate this hook. It's so cringe.
I kind of like it. This is
I
like
don't need nothing.
This is like specifically where I get like the Van Halen reference from.
Okay,
Like,
but Van Halen was less cringy than this. This is like bro rock levels of like frat boy from the gym coming home being like, I don't need nothing, not a motherfucking thing from you, motherfucker. Like, this is bodies.
yeah, you're right.
One, nothing wrong with me. Two, nothing wrong with me. Like, ugh. Okay, but I do like this song, ironically.
Yeah.
Also, Tech Nine's hook is good. Tech
Yeah.
Nine's verse is good. Also, this is a cool riff. It's very bluesy. This whole album is. So, like, I've heard people classifying this album as anything between like hard rock to punk to country rock.
I guess in some, yeah, in like things like Black Eyes Blue, I would consider that country rock.
I think this album is very, here's Tech Nine, by the way. This album is very diverse, but to a fault. You know what I was telling people in previous podcasts and videos, like, listen, diversity is great, but if you don't do every part of it great, then it detracts from the album. This is the prime example of that.
Yeah.
Cory Taylor wanted to do 100 things in this album, and almost none of it works as a result.
Exactly.
What he needed to do is pick a style, stick with it, and get good at that. And from what I understand, this album is basically just a conglomeration of songs that Cory wrote throughout the years that he couldn't put on Slipknot or Stone Sour albums. So it makes sense why this would be so diverse. These songs were probably all written like years and months apart at random intervals. But it just makes for a schizophrenic album that just sounds generic. Nothing is done well. The guitar riffs are pretty okay, but they're not standout. Cory's vocals are even kind of embarrassing at times, like on Home.
Yeah.
Definitely not up to the standard that I hold him to in songs or in bands like Stone Sour and Slipknot, and even in features he's done. This was a huge letdown for me. I wasn't expecting much going into it. Somehow I'm still disappointed.
Yeah.
You were saying 5 out of 10? I'm not going to be that harsh. What is this?
This is kind of good so far.
This is Tour Bathroom Bus.
European Tour Bus Bathroom Song. Yeah,
this is the best thing on the album.
Yeah, and it has like the most WTF title I've ever heard.
Where was this? Should have been the whole album right here.
Yeah, I'd buy this.
Yeah, this is really good, actually.
I don't know. I think some of this I kind of like ironically, but I don't know if it's enough to make it more than a 5 out of 10. So I think that's where I'm going to.
I'm going to be a little nicer. I think it deserves a 6 out of 10.
You know what? Why don't we, like, while this song is going on, I think our ratings are pretty much set in stone. Why don't you just go over, like, your final conclusions?
All right. Well, I was already kind of starting to do that. But basically I'll just, reiterate a few things. It's very schizophrenic. Like I said, it feels like he was doing 100 things on this album and he did none of it well, except this song. Weirdly, yeah. Where was this? This is like thrash metal.
Yeah.
This should have been the whole fucking album. No, this is like hardcore punk.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not even, because it's not even. It's just hard punk.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, very schizophrenic record. Nothing was done well. Jack of all trades, master of none. Not even decent at any of them, basically. There were songs on this album that were unbearable. Minu Luke's is terrible. Kansas is terrible. Home is wow.
And we are at
that
now.
Was embarrassing.
We are now at the end of the album, by the way. Thank fucking Christ.
Yeah. But I think there were songs along the way. I don't know if I was really like saying much about them, but Culture Head, that was a really good song. Halfway Down was pretty good, although the riff was a little bare bones. Silverfish is probably my favorite song on the album. Other than those, I liked the European Tour Bus Bathroom song. CMFT Must Be Stopped I like, but not because it's good. And other than that, the album just kind of blew. I think Cory wanted to put these songs on an album. He wrote them over the years. He wanted to put them on an album, but he didn't polish them to the point where they should have been on an album. This should never have been made, in my opinion. But there's enough glimmers of potential here that I actually do want to hear another solo album from Cory. I think if he can take the aspects of this album that worked, like Silverfish, like the last song, like whatever else, and like refine that and make a whole album out of it next time around, it could work really well. It could be one of those situations where the debut was just thrown together and then they refine it and make it good. That's happened countless times with solo careers and just in bands in general. So I'm a little bit cautiously optimistic for the future, and I want to give Cory the benefit of the doubt because, God, he's such a good musician. He is. He's a good guitar player. He's a good piano player. He's a good singer. He has a lot of creative talent. He's very passionate. I can't believe that this album was written cynically. I think he really liked these songs, and he wanted to release them for the people who would like them. And that's why I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 instead of a 5 out of 10, because I respect Cory enough to give him the benefit of the doubt on that front.
All right, so I give it a 5 out of 10. Not because I don't give him the benefit of the doubt. It's just because this album is so painfully average.
And boring.
And boring. Like you said, there are songs that work. Culture Head, Highway 666, the European Tour Bus Bathroom song. You know,
I actually like Samantha's Gone too.
And Samantha's Gone. Basically, I think it's best when it's sort of at its bluesiest and sort of at its heaviest. There are also songs, though, like Black Eyes Blue and, of course, Home, that just either do not work, are boring, or are just LOL.
Home made me uncontrollably laugh. Like, I can't believe... I can't believe that song.
Like, somebody okayed that. Like, no producer was just like, oh, you're serious with this shit?
They should have been.
I think that it's so average that it gets a score right down the middle. It's not good. It's not really bad. It's an album that purely exists for the sake of existing, and I can't recommend it, but I also can't necessarily say don't listen to it. So that's where I get my 5 out of 10.
For what it's worth, I take back what I said about turning off the album. I'm glad I listened to it the whole way through. Because there were some songs towards the end that I did like the European Bus song. What was the one that like had like a really cool start to it, but like got Maria Fire. Like that was really cool in the beginning, and it kind of devolved throughout the song. But like, I'm glad that I stuck around for the parts of these songs that I enjoyed. And for the people who really like this album, more power to you. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and say that this album is dog shit. I think it really just comes down to, it's not my thing. I don't really like the warm texture that this album has. I don't like the style Cory went in. I don't like the songs.
Again, I think this album is just too generic to have any kind of extreme opinion towards. You can't hate it.
I don't think there's going to be people who love it, but I think there's going to be people who like it.
Yeah, but like, this is not changing anybody's life in high school. All right.
I think like
not a
some of these songs,
defining album, and I don't think it was really trying to be.
But, I said multiple times throughout this podcast, this is a party rock album. And I feel like a lot of these songs would work in that context. Like, if you were just at a social event hanging out, so what if Black Eyes Blue comes on in the background, or what's the other one? Culture Head or Halfway Down. Like, some of these songs would work really, really well in that context. Maybe not so much as like a sit down listening experience, but just something to put on in the background to yeah, it's fun rock music you can drink to,
Yeah.
And I feel
you were
like
definitely
there are
doing some
albums.
drinking.
There are albums that are better for that. Van
Yeah.
Halen, a lot of hair metal. But I understand what it set out to do, and I feel like it was at least, I don't want to say successful.
It
tried.
existed. It tried. And it didn't necessarily fail.
Exactly. It didn't succeed, but it didn't fail.
Entirely.
There were I'm trying to be a little fair to it, because I know there are a lot of people who like this album, and I feel like part of it may just be me.
Yeah, I don't, again, I can't hate it. I think if I had the upbringing that you had in terms of music that I grew up with, I would have given it a much lower score, because the only thing keeping it as high as it is my tolerance for this kind of music, because I grew up on, again, shit like Van Halen, Rat, Ozzy Osbourne, more mainstream style Metallica. You know what I mean?
And to be fair, maybe it's our fault for doing it on this critical format. This is probably an album we were never supposed to sit down and analyze.
Yeah.
It was probably an album we were just supposed to throw on in the background one day,
Yeah, I could see somebody putting this on during a party, filling up the whatever, Dixie cups or whatever.
I could even see it being used in movie soundtracks.
Yeah, I could see especially I could especially see you don't CMFT must be stopped. I could see that in I could see that as WWE rock. I could see that being someone's entrance. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what he was going for with songs like that.
I mean, look at the fucking album cover. I mean, it's literally like a wrestling belt with CMFT on it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the aesthetic for this record.
Tyler, there's already
all the
merchandise.
Promotional material.
You can buy this on vinyl. You can buy a t-shirt with this. There's already fucking merchandise.
Yeah, I saw that. The vinyl's not pricey. Maybe I would get it if I liked the album more. Maybe if I saw it real cheap.
No, I would not get this on vinyl. I have other things that I could be spending my money on.
I saw it for $10.
Yeah, maybe. For $10, maybe.
Like I said, really cheap. But
yeah,
I think maybe it could just be us. But
honestly,
think this was a real disappointment for me.
I have to feel if it's $10 already on vinyl and it just came out, that leads me to believe that the label or whoever is in charge of that shit didn't really have a lot of faith in this either.
On Amazon it's $20.
Oh, 20. Yeah, that sounds about more likely.
Yeah. And maybe what I was looking at was the CD. Actually, yeah, the CD's $10.99, but
yeah, that sounds about right for a CD. So I don't really have anything else to say to you.
I think the only thing I would add is obviously Cory's not going to be watching this, but Cory, my message to you is, if you're seeing a lot of people who hate this record, don't let it get to you. I want to see another Cory Taylor debut, or not a debut. I want to see another Cory Taylor solo album. I do. And I think I don't want all of this hate to get to him and then he never makes another solo album, I feel like that's a waste of potential.
Yeah, I think this style could be improved upon.
Yeah, it's a good start. It's a good start. You could go from here.
Yeah, but as a word of caution, I would just say find musical direction. That's the
Yes.
biggest problem with this
God,
album
yes.
is it. And honestly, that's the biggest problem with Stone Sour as well, is it has no musical direction.
Well, I mean, Stone Sour is heavy metal. Like it's got harsh vocals, it's got regular clean vocals. It's
I don't know, like
a mix.
Like at the point that like we're at the point where like Slipknot and Stone Sour, I think, kind of mesh together more than they probably should.
Well, yeah, in the newer album, yeah, but like classic
Yeah.
Stone Sour albums,
Yeah.
those are more. Well, I guess I shouldn't say classic, but like older Stone Sour albums are more what I'm talking about. But
yeah, like you know, like you have like really heavy Stone Sour songs, and you have looking at you through the glass. I don't know how
that's
much
an
time
older
has
song.
passed. Like,
That's an older
yeah,
song.
like yeah, but even on the newest album, I think Bother was on the newest album. So I mean,
no, it wasn't. There was a song called Song 3 on it though.
Oh.
And that was a slower song.
That's what it was. Okay.
It was a love song about his wife, I believe. Yeah, okay. I mean, I like that Cory is at this point in his life where he doesn't feel like he has to be as like completely negative as he was in the past, but
you have to okay, you can't be negative.
Music
like maybe
has
you
to
don't
be there.
like, yeah, like you know, maybe you don't need to be negative, but you need to be something.
You know, like I heard once somebody said that like the good artist is a suffering artist.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to that point of view. And here's why. Look at okay, I know I've been talking a lot about
I'd say a good
artist because
a good artist can be a suffering artist.
Is what I would say. But I would point, look at Prague. Prague is full of great music, and almost none of those artists are artists who you would call suffering artists. Most of them are just passionate musicians who want to create music. And maybe that's why Prague resonates so much for me. Because I don't have to like deal with all of this emo shit like Linkin Park. It's therapeutic music to Linkin Park. Korn, therapy music to that. And there's a place for it. There is. I like Korn. I like Linkin Park. But I don't feel like that you have to be like those people to make good music.
Yeah.
You can legitimately just be a passionate, talented musician, and you can make music that's good. I think Cory's problem is that he's too used to being the Korn type of musician and not as used to being just a good musician, passionate musician.
So you're saying that Cory Taylor should not be as corny?
Yes.
On that note, I think we can wrap up the episode. I've been Logan, and this has been
Audioholics Unite.
You are Audioholics Unite? Single-handedly?
Yes.
Okay.
This is I am the entire corporation.
Well, I am the table, so there you go.
I'm the tablet.
Oh, no. All right, well, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, give me money. Bye.